I had a purpose before everybody had an opinion.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out.
You want Philly?
Chase Utley, you are the man.
You come out backyard and you try to start something, you always get your butt kicked.
The prayers have been answered.
How about those Eagles, baby?
And Rio Muto can run for days.
Can you feel what's about to happen on this field, man?
A perfect game. Roy Halladay has thrown the second perfect game in Philadelphia Phillies history.
All right, it has been quite some time since the last episode. A lot to talk about. Been a while since I put out a video too, mainly just because I'm working on a ton of stuff. A couple videos that are gonna take some time to come out. Because it's all about like waiting for the next match to come because they're wrestling-based videos. But those will be out soon. One should probably be out either. I'm probably gonna say next week, but got a lot of stuff planned. And as far as Philly talk, taking some time since the trade deadline to really let things sit, to really let this team sit and see how things are gonna turn out. And they haven't turned out well, have they? Haven't won a single series other than the Dodger series. Got swept like multiple times. They just lost the 4-game series to Arizona and played horrific. And that's really the only way to describe the stretch since the All-Star break. And since this trade deadline really is just horrific, they are terrible. They are not looking at all like the team we knew them to be from the first half of the season, I don't know, man. I really don't know how to feel about this team. I really don't know what to say at this point, Just very disappointed in their play, disappointed in especially a lot of the performances we've seen, from them since that All-Star break. You take a look at Nola, Nola's been really struggling, that LA game didn't do his best. Arizona didn't do his best, Yankees game didn't do his best. The Yankees one wasn't that bad, but still it wasn't his best game still. Not really, what you want out of him. Wheeler has been good, but also has had a couple of bad outings. That Seattle game where he went 8 innings with no earned runs was really good. There was the Minnesota game where, that was before trade deadline. Sorry. But the Arizona one let up 2 earned runs, wasn't that bad, but still, wasn't the best. His game against the Yankees, my goodness, man, what was that? I can't remember if we talked about it either before or after the trade deadline. I forget when it happens, but Rangers on the IL. Taijuan Walker's coming back today for a start. Christopher Sanchez in the Arizona game, 7 earned runs, not what you want to see. New York, 6 earned runs. It's like so many of these guys have been really struggling. And then don't even get started on the offense, man. My goodness, it's like they've been so bad from everyone. Harper, Turner, Realmuto, Marsh, Stott. Only one who's been really doing pretty good is Bohm, and you feel bad for the guy because it's like he gets on base and it's like there's no hope afterwards. I don't know. It's really tough to really talk about this team because it's like they're just so bad right now, and you don't know what improvements can really be made right now. I really don't know. I expect this one to be a short episode just to sort of bridge things, because it's like I don't know what to really talk about and say about a lot of the guys on this team, with the performances they've been giving up. I will say, at least some of the bullpen pieces we acquired have been, pretty good so far. Carlos Estevez has been pretty good for us in the outings that we've had him show up in. Tanner Banks is one that I haven't seen too much of. Doing all right, you know, I would say. Has gone 2 innings twice now for us. But I don't know. It's like the whole team is struggling. The vibes around the entire team are down. They're still first place in the East. They still have a 7-game lead over Atlanta, 8-game lead over the Mets. But it's still not what you want to see out of this team, struggling so badly, and especially struggling to the point that they can't even get back on track. You know, it's one thing if it was just a rough, shaky start post All-Star break, post trade deadline, but they have just been completely terrible altogether and show no signs of really getting back on track. Their only sign of getting back on track was the Dodgers series, and you were like, okay, let's use this to build momentum, and then, oh nope, sorry, we're gonna go to Arizona and drop, you know, 3 out of the 4 games and lose terribly in both of them, or in 2 of them. I mean, you know, like 11-1, 12-5. Like, what are you doing? You know, and then losing on a walk-off. I forget, was that walk-off a walk-off? No, that was, I think that was the Seattle game where they lost on a walk-off walk. I think it was. I can't remember, but yeah, they've been downright terrible. I don't know what changes you make, you know. And really, you know, what's the thing that a lot of people have been saying is like, well, let's just hold off till my gosh, why am I blanking? Let's just hold off till October, you know, like they want everyone to just be good till October, and that's all that's gonna matter is getting that momentum there. But it's like, I don't know. Do they make it to October? I know that sounds like such a drastic what's the word? Like overreaction. But it's like, with the way they're playing, you know, and especially, you know, to me, it's like, we're so used to the September collapse. They were like, hey, let's give it to them a month early, you know. They've just been downright terrible, and it's like, it doesn't get easier from here, you know. I mean, you got 2 games against Miami, but look at the way they've struggled with Miami all season. 4 games against the Nationals, and then you got to go on the road for 3 games in Atlanta, 3 games in Kansas City, and then you got to play Houston for 3 games, and then Atlanta for another 4 to close out August. I hope they can get it back on track. I hope they can get back to what they were doing earlier in the season, but it's like, looking at that, you know, coming up ahead for us, I don't know how someone can be optimistic and think, you know, oh yeah, this team's got it, you know. If they don't get it together soon, it's like, that is going to be a pretty terrible stretch that they're going to find themselves in. And it doesn't even get easier to really close out the season, to close out the month, because again, you got to play Miami for 4 more games. They've struggled against them all year. Got to play the Mets, which could be, you know, very could have, you know, effects on the division, either division lead, how, you know, the division placement plays out, especially after all those games against Atlanta right before. You got Milwaukee, who, you know, we, you know, did pretty well against, but still you got to play them. Then the Mets again, Chicago, who might be trying to make a late season push for the playoffs. You never know. I don't know. I truly don't know anymore with this team. They're very frustrating to watch. Sometimes I don't even tune in to watch because I'm just like, well, what's like, I just feel like I have better investments of my time than to sit there and watch this team get blown out 12-5, you know. Or like, you know, the Yankees series where they were doing terribly. It's like, I don't know. At least, you know, during other awful, like, low points in other seasons, it was like, at least you had something to watch for. This team, there isn't anything to watch for right now, you know. Like, none of our pitchers are a bright spot. None of our hitters are a bright spot. They're playing quite awful on defense, you know, and it's just like, what am I sitting here to watch other than to just watch this train wreck of a team for 3-4 hours? You know, it's like they just aren't a fun team to watch right now. And of course, it's especially tougher, you know, after having such a high of a first half, you know, and then to watch them doing what they're doing now, it's just, you know, it's difficult to watch. And especially because a lot of the issues, you're just like, you're just kind of angry because you're like, you had a chance to address these in the off season at the trade deadline, and you really didn't, you know. And it seems like once again, for another season in a row, they're still falling to that, you know, that mindset of live by the home run, die by the home run. You guys aren't hitting for nothing, and yet you're still going at each at bat like, I need to hit a home run. How about getting the bat on the ball? You know, how about just trying to do that? How about just trying to get a single at some point, to just get someone on base? How about when you're on base trying to steal? Because we haven't been seeing these guys attempting to steal quite some time. You know, it's like, you got speed, you're in, you know, this part of the lineup for a reason, and yet you're not stealing when you're on base. You know, you're not trying to create opportunities. But then what's the point of stealing and getting on second when you're just going to be left stranded there and leave our runners in scoring position numbers even worse? You know, it's just, there's so many frustrating things about this team, and it's especially frustrating because you know how good they can be. You know what their potential is, and it's just baffling to hear a team like this, or to watch a team like this that's supposed to have World Series aspirations, that people still keep trying to say and talk about, oh, they could end up in the World Series, they could be a part of a World Series matchup. Not the way they've been playing since the All-Star break. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, it's just an overreaction, you know. And again, I could buy into that too, but at the same time, if this is how you're going to play coming out the All-Star break, how can we trust you to come out of the break of being a 1 to 2 seed, you know? Or no, I think it's only the 1 seed that, wait, is it? I forget. 3, 4, 5. Oh, no, I think it is the 1 and 2 seeds that get, man, I forget. Yeah, well, anyway, if they get some type of, you know, rest between the end of the season and whenever they start the postseason, how we trust them, you know? Especially my biggest issue is, especially after last season, when Atlanta was complaining about that same thing, and all you wanted to say was, oh, it's not true, it's not an issue, you know, this and that, like the break isn't an issue, you know. And you know, you saw a bunch of people telling Atlanta to stop making excuses. How are you now gonna turn around and use that same excuse, you know, and be like, oh, we're not playing as well because of the rest that we had from the All-Star break? And again, another sort of frustrating thing, and I know I'm just yapping at this point, but another frustrating thing is, you know, there's talks of the Olympics obviously coming to LA, and you know, you hear guys like Shohei Ohtani and Bryce Harper talking about, you know, they want the MLB to, you know, participate and have its stars, you know, take the time off to participate in the Olympics. Hey, what's going to be the excuse then when you're playing terribly after a break from that point? You know, it's like, I find it just annoying that, like, you know, that was the whole thing that people gave Atlanta crap for last postseason, and now, you know, you got the Phillies over here trying to make that same excuse about, like, oh, you know, the All-Star break, you know, the break is what ruined our momentum. I mean, I don't know. I don't have anything to say at this point. I'm just very annoyed. I mean, even going into that break, I mean, they swept the Dodgers, but then lost badly to the A's. They lost the series to Atlanta before then. But, I mean, they were doing pretty good, but it's just like, I don't know. I really don't know what to think about this team. I don't really want to say too much because it's like, you know, still got the rest of the season to go. Still got playoff time. Hopefully they can get hot. I mean, we've seen that happen with a lot of teams where they get hot at the right time. But I don't know, man. It's just like, it's kind of hard to really believe in this team when you see them playing this awfully, when you see guys performing this awfully. You know, it's like, really wish we could be seeing a whole lot better from these guys. I mean, it's just been straight awful, really. There's not really much to say other than they've just been awful, and you don't know where the solutions are at this point, you know. And it's just like, I don't know what to change. I don't know what changes you could make. I don't know how you even get through to some of these guys, you know, in the sense of like, how do you get them to stop playing the way they're playing, you know? How do you get them to just drill it through their mind that like they don't need to be hitting home runs every time they go up there? And especially when it's like, there are guys like designated for that in a sense, you know, like the people who are batting before Schwarber, before Harper. It's like, you shouldn't be aiming to get home runs. You should be aiming to get on base so that they can drive you guys in, you know, like the best hitters on the team can drive you in, or like Bohm can drive you in like that. And at the same time, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. I'm very frustrated with this team. It's very annoying. And again, I don't know where they go from here, you know. I obviously hope better, but it's just like, my goodness, man, they have been awful, and it's been so tough to watch. Obviously, it's not as tough as White Sox fans, you know, but it's just like, man, with a team with this much aspiration to do this terribly post All-Star break, you're just baffled by it all, you know. But you just hope for change. You hope for, you know, the guys that are injured to come back, you know, healthy, like Ranger. And you just all hope that a lot of these issues are gone by October, and that they actually make the changes, you know, because I've been saying it so much. I'm just like, I seriously hope that for the third season in a row, we don't see them come October, you know, still making the same mistakes that they did in the previous 2 seasons, you know. But that's all I got for this episode. Like I said, more episodes, or not more episodes, sorry, more videos to come from the rest of the channel, more so on the wrestling side. Still working on some other music ones too, but that one's taking a bit longer just because I'm putting a lot of time into it. I don't want to spoil it too much. It's another discography review that I'm putting a ton of time into. Yeah, got all that planned, and hopefully, I don't know when the next Philly talk is going to be. I mean, the Eagles season is coming soon. I think it's like 24 days until the NFL season starts. I don't know if I'll wait that long. I'll probably do what I did or what I do every season at this point. You'll probably see a video out about you know, season predictions, you know, going through the schedule and calling what I think is going to be wins, what are going to be losses, you know, what players I think are going to do good, you know, and just expectations for the whole Eagles roster. Probably get one of those probably soon. I don't know when the next time we'll talk, but hopefully the next time we talk, the Phillies are doing a lot better.